Welcome to Forsaken. I stumbled upon this game whilst I was in the midst of being bored waiting for Pillar Chase updates, and now that I have finished pumping out a pretty decent amount of Pillar Chase content with, the character monster reviews and stuff, I think it's time for me to move on to another game. A game that is also growing in popularity, surprisingly. This game. I have been playing this game for a pretty decent while. I think this game is pretty good. I don't think it was the most interesting thing at the time for me, but now that I've invested more time into it, it's become more of a obsession for me to play this game, which is good. I enjoy playing this game. It has a very nice gameplay loop. You could compare this game to Dead by Daylight, if you ever heard of that, which they're pretty much practically the same with how the mechanics work and stuff. I like this the fact that you can have each survivor play an actual different role rather than it just be perks that benefit a survivor which you can just put onto another survivor. It makes it more for actually like trying out the characters and indulging in their kits, making it fun, which is one thing I like about this game. It makes the survivors actually have something to do rather than just their objectives. They can actually have fun. I think this is a pretty solid game for anybody who's looking to do some to play like a survival based game, killer versus survivors, that type of thing. It's basically like Pillar Chase and Dead by Daylight combined, but less Pillar Chase, more Dead by Daylight, if I'm being honest. In this game, you have a very decent amount of survivors to pick from. You can pretty much would say I could pretty much say that they all have the same consistent format, but they all indulge in different kits. They have different perspective roles. Some of them are stunners, some of them are support, and then some of them are just simply distractors, which is pretty nice. This is also just down to the simple format of the game, which is stamina management, same as Pillar Chase, right? If you don't know how to manage your stamina well, then you're probably going to lose over and over again. This game is also a testament of how good you are at looping and how good you are at juking, because this game can be regarded as skill-based, kinda. I would say that this game is pretty more on killer-sided, if I'm being honest. I think some of the killers are really strong, some of them in an imbalanced way, and then some of them are just strong enough. If I'm being honest, I would say that out of all of these killers, I think John Doe is the weakest. Not saying he's weak, but out of all of them, he is the weakest link. The strongest killer, in my opinion, is Cool Kid, because Cool Kid is just nuts. I would say it would be Cool Kid, then Jason, then 1x1, then John Doe, for reasons that I'll explain when I review them. The survivors are pretty niche too. They all are very fun. They also have a leveling system where when you get the character to a certain level, you'll unlock the milestone skin for them. This only applies to some survivors and killers, as some of them don't have their skins yet, which really sucks because I got Cool Kid to level 100 and I don't even have milestone skins for him. It was such a pain. Oh man, I love it. I love it. Just fantastic. But yeah, I think the killers are pretty fun. They're all very different from each other. Some of them are zoners, some of them are about how well you can predict, and then some of them are just straight up cheap, just strong in and of themselves. They're just strong. Out of all of them, I would say 1x1 is the most skill based, to be honest, because you actually have to like predict people well enough for you to get your hits in. The most punishing killer, like, that's the thing. None of them are really punishing. Jason can recover from missing his attacks like it's nothing. Cool Kid, while he has his walk speed override, it really doesn't punish him that hard. Sure, he'll go across the map, but he can come back pretty quickly, like nothing even happened. It's both really just like a 50-50 in some cases. Unless you're at like a ledge and you just have him fall off, then yeah, it's punishing. But I wouldn't say any of the killers are really that punishing, to be honest. They're all just strong, really strong, obscenely strong. And that's not to say that survivors aren't strong either. Some of the survivors are pretty stupid too, like Shaletsky, Guest, and Chance. Those are the main stunners of the group. The supports are Elliot and Builderman, and then you have your distractors, which are Noob, 2Time, and 007 and 7. You get the gist. Everybody has their roles. You can play on the kits, have a blast with them. I would recommend trying out all the survivors if given the possibility to, so that you can see which kit fits you the most. I really enjoy myself as a distractor, considering that I've always been pretty decent at looping and juking, so that's why I got Noob to level 100. So now I'm just into time. Throwing XY, alright? I have my reasons. But yeah, I think letting the survivors have some form of, being able to defend themselves and actually having a play in the role rather than just surviving, I think it's fun. They all have a lot of interesting abilities that set themselves apart from each other. While they do have the same gameplay format, right? They're all different from the way that they play and from the way they can utilize their abilities to make the gameplay more fun. The killers are pretty intricate too, and I like that they have their own unique things that set them apart from each other, that don't make them too similar, even though they kind of do have similar comparisons. Cool Kid and 1x1 both consist of, predicting where your survivor is going to go, so that way you can utilize your abilities more effectively. Jason and John Doe are just powerhouses. They're really strong. John Doe can recover from stuns faster, but he's more of a zoner, whereas Jason is just a brute. He is just entirely built to make chases end faster because of his abilities, being able to increase his damage and also being able to nullify survivors being able to stun him, which I think is, it's pretty nice. I think the killers are pretty good. I think some of them are pretty strong, right? A little too strong. They could use balance changes, right? But I think they're fine. I think their kits are fine. Their strength can be said to be a little too high. One other thing I want to talk about is how absurd the hitboxes can be sometimes. Maybe it's my delay, or maybe it's the person on the other end's delay, but usually the hitboxes can be insanely weird. They are extremely wacky, and I just think that they should be tweaked a little more. Like, it's absurdly goofy how insanely far some of these killers can hit me from, and how insanely far I can hit people from far away too. Like, I don't understand it. It really doesn't make sense. It can be really deceiving sometimes when I'm in the middle of a chase and then I hit someone and it doesn't register, even though the hitbox is quite literally on top of their body. It just messes me up. It messes me up a lot. They also have a bunch of skins that you can purchase for your character that you like. They recently came out with a bunch of more skins for them, so I think that's pretty cool. And they also had limited skins, like the Christmas skins, which were, pretty nice. They were all pretty clean. I really like the new addition of all these skins that they added, but I still don't think this was a really good update, if I'm being honest. Just the skins additions are, they're okay. Like, but I think the balance changes were also okay too. The map reworks were fine. I don't like the newest map though. I hate it. I think it's a very awful map. It's probably one of the worst maps in the game. It's extremely killer-sided, and while that is a benefit for me when I'm the killer. It also makes it obscenely difficult for me to play as a survivor because it's so confined, and it just makes it more difficult to survive in some cases, which I don't like, not at all. But yeah, maybe that's just my opinion. I agree to disagree. I think this is a pretty decent game. There's a few imperfections that definitely need to be fixed, a lot more balance changes that need to be made to make the characters have more consequences to using their abilities rather than them just being able to use them with little to no repercussions. You know, there's no way to effectively punish survivors for I guess no, there's no way to really punish killers for making mistakes with their abilities. Most survivors can get punished really hard if they fumble something that they were originally doing. Like, for instance, if a Shaletsky misses a sword slash, that is very detrimental. Missing a slash can cause you to get hit with like a dang mass infection from 1x1, a gashing wound from Jason. Like, the Shaletsky's, any stunner really, Shaletsky, Guest, Chance, they all get punished heavy for missing their stun, you know. And killers don't really get punished that much at all. I mean, stunners can hit them, but that's kind of what they're intended to do. It's not really punishing them, it's more just how their kit works. Killers can recover from missing their moves or just making mistakes with little effort. It doesn't, you know, just it doesn't ruin their flow at all. It's pretty nuts, you know. But maybe that is an okay thing. Oh no, I'm just saying, that's just how it seems like in my eyes, right? I feel like killers should be as strong as survivors without like breaking an equilibrium of balance, you know, not making one side stronger than the other, even though it would make sense for the killers to be stronger than the survivors, right? But just not over the top strong. But yeah, stay tuned for character reviews for these Forsaken survivors and killers. They will be coming out eventually. I'm gonna actually take my time with these rather than just trying to get them out as fast as possible, especially considering when the devs don't really update this game that much. And I'm not directing any hate, it's just that these devs are very how can I put this, inconsistent with their updates. They're very but I would say this game is pretty good. It's very solid. I would give it a very decent 7 out of 10 in my opinion. I think this game still has imperfections, right? Things that need to be balanced, things that should be added, and just a lot. But you know, I think this game is okay. I wouldn't say it's super bad or anything. It's not the greatest Roblox game of all time, and it's definitely not the greatest Roblox game of this year, not even close. This game is good though. I think it's really good. It's just fun, you know, a good enough gameplay loop to where I don't get bored, and I like it. It's good. So yeah, expect more videos on this game. So yeah, that's all. See ya.